Hello to my District 148 students. It's Mrs. Nelson again with another story. I have a classic telling of Little Red Riding Hood. So let's go ahead and check out our book. We have Little Red Riding Hood. The author who is retelling this story is Jerry Pinkney. He not only wrote the words in this book, but he's also the illustrator. He drew all of the pictures and did all of the artwork. So we have our story. Little Red Riding Hood. In a small cottage, there lived a sweet little girl and her dear mother, who once made her daughter a lovely red riding hood. The child cherished it and wore it everywhere, so that all in the village affectionately called her Little Red Riding Hood. One day, Mother cooked some delicious chicken soup and raisin muffins. "Your grandmother is not well today," she told her daughter as she packed the warm treats. "Go see how she is faring. Mind you," she instructed, "be certain to go straight there." Little Red Riding Hood set out at once. The gentle sounds of the child's footsteps in the snow, crunch, crunch, kept her company. Oh, how peaceful, she thought, catching a snowflake on the tip of her tongue. "I wonder if Grandma will be surprised to see me." By and by, Little Red Riding Hood met the sly wolf. The wolf, who was always hungry, had a mind to eat her up at once, but he thought better of it when he heard the chop, chop of the woods cutter working nearby. "Where are you going, little one?" he asked in his most pleasant voice. "My grandmother's not well today," Little Red Riding Hood replied, forgetting that her mother did not want her to delay. "I'm taking her some chicken soup and raisin muffins." The clever creature smiled. "Does she live far from here?" he asked. "No," said Little Red Riding Hood, "just behind the mill, across the pond, next to the big oak tree." I'll join you for I was just heading that way," said the wolf. He walked along with the child for a short distance and then had an idea. "Why not collect kindling for a fire?" he suggested. "It will warm your granny's heart." "What a wonderful idea," said the child. "Look, the snow has brought down so many small branches. They will make a good fire." Little Red Riding Hood gathered as many twigs as she could carry, trying to bundle the ribbon that had fastened Grandmother's basket. In the meantime, the cunning wolf slipped away to Grandma's cottage with great haste. "Tap, tap," he knocked. "Who's there?" asked Grandmother in a frail voice. "It's me, your granddaughter," replied the crafty scoundrel, doing his best to sound like a young girl. "The door is unlocked," Grandmother responded. "Just lift the latch." Once inside, the wolf leapt upon and startled Grandma and gobbled her down whole. Then he shut the door and dressed himself in one of Grandma's nightgowns. After struggling to get her cap down over his ears, the wolf, who was still quite hungry, settled into bed to wait for his next meal. Before long, Little Red Riding Hood arrived at the cottage. "Tap, tap," she knocked. "Who's there?" croaked the wolf. The young girl was startled by the hoarseness of Grandma's voice. "It's me, your granddaughter," she responded. "I've brought you soup and Mama's special raisin muffins, and I've got kindling to start a fire. Soon you will feel just like yourself again. Just lift the latch and come in," the voice invited her. "I can't wait to see how much you've grown." The little girl opened the door and and closed it gently behind her. The wolf lay in the bed with the sheets right up to his whiskers, and Grandmother's nightcap pulled as low as he could manage. "Put your basket on the chair and come closer," he said, sweetly as he could. "You're a head taller since I saw you last." Little Red Riding Hood felt anxious about Grandma's poor health. She went right to her bedside. "Oh, Grandma, what great arms you have," said the child in wonder. "All the better to hug you with, my dear," replied the wolf. "Oh, Grandmother, what great ears you have," she remarked. "Oh, all the better to hear you, my dear," the wolf responded. "Oh, Grandmother, what great eyes you have," the girl cried out. "Oh, all the better to see you with, my dear," declared the wolf. "Oh, Grandma, what great teeth you have," she squealed. "All the better to eat you with, my dear," howled the wolf. With those awful words, the wolf leapt out from under the covers, sprang upon Little Red Riding Hood, and swallowed her whole. "Now," said the wolf with a sigh, "a long nap is all I need after such a full meal." And so he climbed back into bed and fell asleep. The wretched creature snored so loudly that one of the woodcutters who was passing by the cottage wondered if something was wrong with that kindly old woman who lived there. As the man approached the door, he spotted 2 sets of fresh tracks in the snow leading to the front steps. "One is a small pair of a child," he thought. "The second appears to be a large paw print." The woodcutter cautiously entered the cottage, made his way toward the noise that rumbled so deeply and caused the china in the cupboard to rattle. "Ah," he thought, when he found a wolf with a very, very large belly in a deep sleep. Then to the man's great surprise, the belly stirred. With one stroke of his axe, he killed the wolf. Then he cut open the animal's stomach with the old woman's sewing shears. Out jumped Little Red Riding Hood with a smile, as bright as fresh snow. Then out climbed the kindly old woman. Once she saw that her granddaughter was out of harm's way, her heart was filled with gratitude, and she felt better. Later, after the woodcutter had buried the wicked wolf in the deep forest, he returned to warm himself by the fireplace, when Grandmother had started a fire with Little Red Riding Hood. All 3 were comfortable with Mother's chicken soup and raisin muffins. The sweet raisins reminded the girl of home and of what her mother had told her. As Little Red Riding Hood readied herself to leave, Grandmother said, "Now, little miss, you be certain to go straight home." And she did. And that is our classic telling of Little Red Riding Hood.